Okay, Vicky, we are live on GetSetUp and I have made you host. You can make me co-host now. Thank you.
Okay, will do. All righty, and you are co-host. Hi, Patrick. How are you doing? Hello, Vicki.
Doing good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great today. It's a good Wednesday, although we're expecting a major heat wave starting today for like the next 4 days. So just need to stay cool.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm in San Jose, California.
Okay, I'm in Camarillo.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have a hot one too.
Oh, yeah. Just need to stay inside and stay cool.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Vicki. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Doing great. Just
That's
great.
good. That's
Hi, Kathleen. How's it going today? Moravia, how are you? Yes, I can see you. You look fab. Oh, you are muted, just so that you know.
Yes, I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's so good to see everyone's face. And I'm just curious, have folks been hosting any Zoom events yet, or do you have a Zoom event that you plan on hosting, maybe your first one?
I have kind of muddled my way through hosting one, I guess a couple of months ago, but it was just with talking with someone telling me what to do. So I don't feel comfortable with it. So that's why I'm taking this class.
Yeah, I suspect that there are a number of others in the same boat along with you. So, yeah. Anyone else who has, attempted or, done hosted a Zoom or has one coming up maybe that they might need help with?
No,
No?
I've just
Okay.
attended classes, but I'm trying to Zoom, meetings on Zoom, but I want to try to get my family together. So,
Yep.
we'll see.
Great. Yeah, that's what it's become. Originally, Zoom was this business tool that, that's designed for holding business meetings and training events. And, after COVID now, it's sort of become this much more socially used tool. So it's for us common folk.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll probably have a few more folks joining us. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Before I do, I just want to copy and paste something into the chat window for everybody to see. And we have a new event. We have a new session that we started on Monday, actually, Flag Day. And Marge is hosting, and I put it in the chat, we call it our daily lunch special. And it's really just an opportunity for folks to drop in. It's a social hour. It's scheduled for, I think, East Coast time, 2 o'clock. So we're trying to hit some lunch hours. And the idea is to just drop in, relax. If you're having a snack, lemonade, lunch, whatever, twosies, whatever you call it, just to stop in and just say hi and talk. It's an opportunity for people just to chat. If it happens to be your lunch hour, have lunch with others. So I just wanted to put it into our chat window, and I've also put in the link that you can sign up or go to join. And I also just wanted to let folks know we have Victor with us today. Victor's with our GetSetUp support team, and he is going to be helping me monitor the chat. If anybody has any technical issues, just let us know. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And first of all, welcome everyone. My name is Vicki. I'm your GetSetUp guide, and I'm calling in from San Jose, California, where we are just starting our heat wave here for the next couple of days. And I live in Silicon Valley, the heart of Silicon Valley. So not surprisingly, I worked in the high-tech industry for 30 plus years, doing a number of different things, technical support, lots of technical training, instructional design. I've been fortunate to be able to teach folks from around the world, teach people who are very technical, but also teach folks maybe more like yourself who are just starting to delve into this world of technology, see what it's all about. And being a guide with GetSetUp lets me do what I truly love, and that is to educate folks about technology. So a little bit about me. Today we're a learning organization here at GetSetUp, and ideally we love it when people have their cameras turned on. I do understand that folks may be eating lunch, or maybe your camera's not working today, or you just are not comfortable turning your camera on. I leave this up to you. It's just more fun when we can see each other, but your choice. Today's class is being recorded, and if you would like a copy of the recording, please email us at help@getsetup.io, and Victor has also put that into the chat. Let us know the name of the class as well as the date. And for those of you who are joining us via live stream today, welcome. Hi there. You can see and hear everything we're doing today, but I always suggest that folks go onto our GetSetUp website and register for a class, because that way you can fully participate. I'll be sending after class notes via an email to everyone who's registered for the class. But if you are joining us via live stream, you won't get those emails. And just know that when you've registered for a class, you have the opportunity to enter questions, comments in the chat window, as well as unmute yourself and ask questions there. And also, as I mentioned, GetSetUp is a training organization. Guides are not being paid to promote any specific products or services. It's all about the training for us here. We offer classes, social hours, interest groups 7 days a week. We're offering them in the US, the UK, India, Australia, New Zealand, and we're going to be bringing Singapore on board soon. So we have something for you 24/7, pretty amazing. For those of you who've been starting to take more and more classes, or something to think about in the future, if you would like to host a session, maybe an interest group or a social hour, if there's something that you're passionate about and would really love to share it with others, you can click on the Apply to Host a Session button on our website and let us know what type of session you would like to host. We love bringing, our members into the fray, so to speak. And lastly, if you've been enjoying the classes, social hours, and interest groups that you've been taking with us, we make it really easy to invite friends. So as you're registering for a class, you'll see that there's a button that you can click to share a class with someone, send them an email with the link, or post the link on social media. And don't forget, you can now take your classes on the go with your mobile device. As the weather, has been nicer, as things have been lifting, You're going to find yourself out and about more. So don't be chained to your desk, to your computer at home. You can take classes with you on your mobile device. So what are we going to talk about today? First off, I'm going to show how you can start what we call one of these instant meetings. We'll also be talking about how to schedule, how to host a meeting, and I'm going to show you a really cool calendar feature that allows you to post your events on your calendar and share with others. All right, I have an idea. Some of you have been working with Zoom a little bit. Others, maybe you have one that's coming up and you're a little iffy on how to do this. So let's go ahead and show you how. So requirements for hosting a Zoom meeting. If you've been participating, if you've been joining meetings, people have sent you a link. You don't need to have a Zoom account to join a meeting. However, in order to host a meeting, schedule a meeting, you do need to have a Zoom account. You can sign up for one that's free or a paid account. I'll show you the difference. And what you'll do is you'll open up a browser, you'll go to the zoom.us site, and then there is a plans and pricing tab that you'll take a look at. So let me just show you what that looks like. And what I've done here is I have another web browser that I've opened up. I just wanted to keep it a little separate here. And I've gone to zoom.us. And when I selected when I first got onto the site, when I selected plans and pricing right over here, if I click on that for you, let me just see if we can. Here are the different plans and their pricing. And so I'll scroll down a little bit so we can see this better. So this is the free account. I don't know why they have buy now. You're not buying anything, you're just registering. With a free account, you can host up to 100 participants on a call. If you have just one other participant that you've invited or that's on your Zoom call, you can have an unlimited one-on-one meeting. So there's no time limits imposed. However, once there are 3 or more of you on a call, on a Zoom call, Zoom meeting, for a free account, you'll only be able to have 40 minutes for your Zoom meeting, and that's with a free account. Now, if you think that you're going to be regularly scheduling meetings, Zoom meetings that have to go longer than 40 minutes, and they're going to be with 2 or more folks, you'll want to take a look at some of these paid licensed accounts, and just some of them you have more participants. You can have meetings up to 30 hours. They just have some additional features that are available to you. So I just wanted to show you, this is where you'll sign up for your free Zoom account. I know it says buy now, but you're not buying anything, it's free. And so any questions before I move on about your Zoom accounts, where you sign up for one, how you can just look at some of there are a number of different paid accounts here. And again, if you're just starting off and this is something you want to do with friends and family, start with the free account, and then you can always upgrade. Zoom makes it really easy to upgrade to one of these paid accounts.
So you're saying as long as my meeting is no more than 40 minutes, I can have up to 100 people on that meeting, on that call?
Yeah, you sure can.
Thank you.
Question,
Olivia,
Vicki,
yeah.
are you going to go through what these items mean under the ones that are fee attached? Are you going to explain?
Yeah, no, I'm not going through this today. My goal is to just show you where you can sign up for an account. I'll let you scroll through these different, features, but some of these we will be talking about as I show you how to create, how to start a Zoom.
Okay,
A Zoom meeting.
there's some things here I really don't quite understand, but
And I
nonetheless.
think you might
Is-
after we go through this class.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to click on Zoom to get back to my main Zoom site. And I'm going to click on my account here in my upper right-hand corner. So just, I just want to mention something today after I click on my meetings. I'm using the browser version, the web browser version of Zoom. Some folks, some of you may want to download the Zoom app if you're working on a phone, you know, a smartphone or a tablet. You will go to your, you know, App Store or Google Play Store, depending upon what type of device you have. You'll download the app. Because I'm working on a Windows laptop today, I'm using the browser version. I open up a web browser, doesn't matter which one, and I'm just going to zoom.us. Now, I already have an account, so I've logged on to my account. And the reason why I'm showing you, I'm using the browser version today, it's just easier for me to teach this in a classroom setting using the browser version. I have everything really on one or two windows. So that's the only reason why I'm using the browser version. And yeah, sure.
Okay. I have downloaded the Zoom. So actually, and I'm using a laptop. So I can just click on my icon for Zoom to start. Okay.
Can I host from an iPad? Can you host from an iPad?
Yes, you can. Yeah, and I have the Zoom. Of course, a little bit all the real estate, but of course you can. Yeah, and so I have screenshots for you to show you what it looks like on a mobile device. So we'll talk about that as well. Yeah, the left-hand navigation panel here. You can see upcoming meetings, any previous meetings I had. And then I want to talk a little bit about this personal room. So when you're hosting a Zoom meeting, you can actually start a Zoom meeting at any time. You don't have to schedule it for the future. You literally, if you're on a mobile device, you can just tap start meeting, and then you can open up your meeting, start it, and then invite others. So that's what we call one of these instant meetings. Just start it right on the fly. Maybe you're working with a colleague and you're trying to walk them through something on the phone, how to use a computer, you know, program, and you're like, oh, you know what? Let's just hop on a Zoom meeting. I'll share my screen and let me show you how to do this. That's an example of when you might want to start one of these instant meetings. Or maybe you're talking to a friend or texting with a friend. You're like, hey, I haven't seen you in ages. Let's just start a Zoom meeting right now, and I'll send you a link to invite you. So
you could send this, Vicki, just to someone who doesn't even have an account.
Exactly.
Have no idea anything about it, and tell them to click on this and we can talk face to face.
Yes, you can start a video call. Exactly. A video
cool.
meeting. Yep, it is. And so what I've done is I've opened up something called a personal room. So when you start a Zoom meeting, whether it's one of these instant meetings, or I'm going to show you how to schedule a meeting, what you can do is you have an option. When you start your meeting, you start a meeting using in your personal room using something called a personal meeting ID. And this is my personal meeting ID, or you can start a Zoom meeting using one of these randomly generated IDs. So what's the difference? When do you use them? Because you'll need to figure this out when you're scheduling a meeting as well. So I'm in my personal room. When I sign up for my Zoom account, so when you sign up for a Zoom account, even if it's a free account, your account is automatically assigned a unique meeting ID. It's only for your account. Everyone has a different meeting ID, meaning every Zoom account has a different meeting ID. And you'll see this join URL, it has that meeting ID in it as well. And so if you're starting a Zoom meeting from your personal room, meaning you're using this personal meeting ID, What that means is that you're going to be sending a link out. Now, I would say, I recommend only starting a meeting in a personal room, sharing the link here, this URL, with people that you know very well and that you trust. Because if someone starts abusing this link, maybe they're not acting appropriately in one of your Zoom meetings, you're going to need to work with Zoom technical support to possibly get a new meeting ID assigned. And so you want to be careful who you share this personal meeting ID with. And again, here's this link. I'm going to show you how you can invite others. But again, I only start Zoom meetings in my personal room with people that I know, because when you send them this link, they can keep this link forever. And as long as you have your Zoom account, this meeting ID never, ever changes. It's always the same. So let's say you say to your family, hey, every Friday at 4, let's just hop on a Zoom call and just, see what everybody's doing, maybe like a little mini social hour. And then you would send them this URL, send them this link. And every Friday you would come into Zoom, start a meeting in your personal room, and then people can just use that same link over and over again to join your room. It never expires. It never changes. So that's your personal meeting ID. Hi, Nikki, question. Oh, Nikki, you are muted. You'll need to unmute yourself. Sorry about that.
I forgot, I'm sorry. So I think you just said it as I raised my hand, that the meeting ID that you're assigned there, that is not then the same ID number that you get if you schedule future meetings.
It could be if you schedule a meeting using your personal meeting ID. And I'm going to show you how to do that.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Is there something on the system that tells you how much time you've been on the meeting? Like, is there, once you start, and if you're going to cover that, that's fine. But you know how, if I'm trying to have the free account with 45 minutes for like a meeting between myself and my sisters, is there something on the screen that would tell us we're getting close to 45 minutes or what?
Yes, and what you can do, it's going to be in the settings, and I'll add that to the after class notes for today.
Okay.
You can turn on a setting that says show the countdown clock. By default, it doesn't. You just need to be aware, but
Okay,
I'll
great.
add that to our notes. Great question. All right, so in order to start one of these.
Vicki,
Oh yeah,
I'm
sorry. No,
sorry.
that's okay. Go ahead, Carol.
Just before you go on, does everyone who you invite to your meetings have to already have their own Zoom account?
No, they don't. That's the beauty of it. You do not need a Zoom account in order to join a meeting that you've been invited to.
Okay.
You just need the Zoom account if you're going to host a meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's my, if I wanted to start my meeting in my personal room, I could click on start from here. And there I am. It just starts up my Zoom meeting, just like we're on a Zoom meeting. I've already in hosting a meeting, so I can't host a second one. But if you wanted to invite people before the meeting starts, one way to do it is click on copy the invitation button right down here in the lower part of my screen. If I click on copy the invitation, this is what it looks like. And for those of you who took the beginner Zoom class, it's very similar to what you've seen when you click on invite. So this is what the invitation is going to look like. And here's that Zoom link. If I click on the copy meeting invitation at the bottom of my screen here, what that does is it copies it to something called a clipboard. And a clipboard is a little area in your device's memory. You can't view the clipboard, but what you can do is once you copy information to the clipboard, you could then open up, go to your email application, compose a new email, and then paste, whether it's the old Control V if you're on a laptop, keyboard command, or Command V if you're on a Mac. You could then paste the contents of that invitation into the body of your email, and it will look just like this. And then you would send, type out someone's, one or more people's addresses, and then send the invitation via an email. And if you're on a mobile device, you can do this via a text as well.
That's
Once you
Control-
copy that once you copy that invitation, can you edit it? Say like if you didn't want to do everyone, but there's one person now that you don't want the invitation to go to. Can I edit it once I put it on the clipboard and take it over?
Yeah, so what you're doing is when you click on this copy invitation, all you are doing, you're just copying this information. You're not copying anyone's email address or anything like that. So we're
Okay.
simply copying this invitation. You'll go create a new email. You'll open up your email, application, compose a new email, paste the contents of the clipboard into the body of your email, and then you'll add people's email addresses in the to field.
Thank you.
Patrick, did you have a question by any chance?
Just a clarification, it's Control V as in Victor?
Yes,
Okay.
those are the
Now I have a
keyboard
lap-
shortcuts.
right, I have a desktop that works with Windows on it. It works.
Yes, yep, exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so that's how we're going to start one of these instant rooms, instant Zoom meeting. And this again is in your personal room. If you wanted to start a meeting that doesn't use your personal meeting ID, it uses one of these randomly generated IDs. If you're on the web version, you'll come up here and select host a meeting. And then you can select, do I want to start a meeting with my camera turned on, camera turned off, or as soon as I start the meeting, it's going to allow me to share my screen. And that way, when a participant joins the meeting, they'll just see my screen that I've shared. And again, this allows you to start a meeting, a Zoom meeting, using one of these randomly generated IDs. And what that means is you'll start the meeting, there's an ID that's assigned to the meeting. And then once the meeting is over, once you end the meeting, that randomly generated ID expires. It can no longer be used again. So that's where I say, if you're going to be hosting a Zoom meeting with people maybe that you don't know as well, you don't trust them, use the host a meeting and host the meeting using one of the randomly generated IDs so that it expires. And if someone's behaving badly, you end the meeting and that ID is gone. You can't use it again. And so that's the difference between starting one of these instant meetings in your personal room versus using one of these randomly generated IDs.
And if I use a random generated ID, that's also the ID that shows up in the URL, correct?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes. And I'm just going to hop back over to my slides here. And I want to show you, if you're working on the app, meaning whether it's you've downloaded the app on your desktop, you're working off of a smartphone or a tablet, this is what the Zoom app looks like for you. And in order to start a meeting, you'll tap on New Meeting, just like you see here. If you're on a PC, what you'll actually be able to do is tap on this little down arrow button next to New Meeting. And if you select Use My Personal Meeting ID, if you click on this checkbox, then when you tap on Start Meeting, you're starting your meeting in a personal room using your personal meeting ID. So that's if you're using the app on the PC. If you're on a mobile device and you tap on New Meeting, this is the screen that you see next. And there's something called a slider here that I'm sort of circling around. If you take your finger and move the slider to the right, That means when you tap on start a meeting, you're going to start the meeting in your personal room. If you leave the slider deselected as you see here and tap on start a meeting, that will allow you to start a meeting using one of these randomly generated IDs. So that's what it looks like for those folks who are using the app. And again, I'm using the web version because it's just easier for me to show you everything on one screen. That's all. And let me know if you have any questions about that. So that is starting one of these instant meetings. You don't have to schedule a meeting. Let's talk about scheduling a meeting. So let's say you want to schedule a meeting maybe next week sometime. What you would do is come up here to the upper right-hand corner and click on schedule a meeting. And I'm just going to wait for a second. And there are lots of different fields and options to select. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but what I will do is in the after class notes, I'll be attaching a file that has a description of what each of these fields is used for. Now, some of these fields, these options, you won't even see because if you're using the free Zoom app, they're not always available to you. I'm on a paid account today. I'm using a paid version. And so I have some more options. So let's go through these. I clicked on schedule a meeting and let's give it a topic. Today is Wednesday. I don't know. How about my Wednesday meeting? I'm getting very creative here. You can specify a detailed description that will show up in the invitation. The next thing we need to do is select a date and a time that you want the meeting to start. So here, there's this little calendar icon. If I click on the calendar icon, it brings up a calendar. And there are these teeny weeny little buttons to the right here. They look like triangles that are on their side. If you click on these little triangles, what they do is they move you back and forth between the months of the year. And you can simply select another date and click on done, and then the date will be chosen for you. I'm just going to leave it as today. And then the date and of course the time, when would you like this meeting to start? We'll just do, how about, I don't know, 11 o'clock. And then AM or PM. And so that's how you're setting the date and the time. Duration. So if you have a free account, when you click on the minutes, it will show you 45. You won't be able to set it for an hour and 45 if you're planning on hosting it for 3 or more people, because you're with a free account, you're limited to that 40-minute duration. But if you're working off of a paid account, you can set this, I believe, up to 30 hours or more, depending upon the type of paid account. So this is where you'll set the duration. And again, if you're working off of a paid account, you know, I've set it up for an hour and 45 minutes, but it could go over that. It could go past the hour and 45 minutes. Time zone. So this refers to your time zone, you, the host. Make sure you've set up your time zone for yourself. Don't worry about participants. If they're in other time zones, Zoom handles that when you send out the invitation. I'm going to talk about recurring meeting in a little bit. Let's talk about this meeting ID. So let's just say maybe you're a career coach and you're setting up a meeting for a new client. It's, you know, it's an hour and 45 minutes. You really don't know this person all that well. Are you going to set your meeting ID for a personal meeting, to use your personal meeting ID, or generate automatically? Anybody want to give a guess which one you might?
Automatic.
Yeah. You want to, this is that randomly generated ID. Exactly. Now, if you were setting up this meeting with family and friends that you really felt comfortable with and knew well, this is where you would select the personal meeting ID. Let's see what else. Let's talk a little bit about security. Some of you have heard about all the Zoom bombings that went on, you know, in the past year. So Zoom has added lots and lots of security. And what you'll be required to do is when you schedule a meeting, you will need to add security. You cannot schedule a meeting unless you've selected either a passcode or something called the waiting room. Now, if you're working off of a free account, passcode will be selected for you. You will not be able to deselect it. But what you can do is you can change the passcode to something that you think users might test, you know. Okay. Something that you think will be easier to remember for your users. So when they join your meeting and it says, you know, please enter your passcode, you can give it, you know, a name that makes sense. That's easier for them to remember. But again, if you're working off of a free Zoom account, passcode will be selected for you. You cannot deselect it, but you can change the value of the passcode. I happen to be working again on a paid account, so I have the choice. Do I want to select a passcode for security, or do I want to select enable the waiting room? Now you can have both turned on, whether you have a free account or a paid account, just additional security. For the waiting room, the way this will work is if you turn it on, as you, the host, you'll start the meeting. And then as participants click on the link to join, you'll see a little message pop up on your screen that says, you know, Vicki has joined the meeting or is in the waiting room. And what you'll do is there'll be two buttons. One will say admit, if you know this person. Oh, that's Vicki, I'm just going to admit her. Or if it's someone that you are not really sure of, maybe they don't have a first name, you can actually ask them for more information. You can click on another button. I think it's just escaped me for the moment what that button says, and I'll go ahead and remember it. It's give me 80 seconds, admit, and there's the other button, I just can't remember it, which will enable you to message them and say, hi, I don't recognize your name. I don't know who iPad 123 is. Can you give me a first and last name? And then if it's somebody that you know, you can click on admit. And so that's what the waiting room does. And we've recently turned on our waiting rooms because we had some Zoom bombing going on. So let me know if you have any questions about the passcode or the waiting room. You're going to need to use at least one, but you can always use both.
And I guess that's why sometimes if I show up 5 minutes or 10 minutes after the meeting has started, I'm in the waiting room, right? And then okay, great. Thank you for explaining that. I always wondered why that.
Yeah. And what we've done is, and it's up to the TA, after the 5 minutes when class has started with GetSetUp, we may ask you just to join via live stream. That's just part of our new security measure, and it's for your safety as well as ours. So FYI.
Thank you for telling me
that. So if you join without using the waiting room, just the passcode, will you immediately go into the meeting, and will you have to supply a passcode, the person who's trying to join?
Yes. So if passcode is selected, when you click on the link to join, the first thing it will do is please, enter your password. Or the passcode. You'll enter the passcode that was given to you as part of the invitation, and then you're immediately in the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So just a few other things I wanted to cover. You know, when you click on schedule a meeting, we've entered the topic, the title, we've set a date and a time for starting, how long it's going to be, what type of a meeting ID are we going to be using. We've talked a little bit about setting up security. Video, and this is another thing to think about. So video pertains to the state of your camera when you join a meeting, when you, the host, or your participants. So for example, if right now I have my video turned off. So when I start up a meeting, my camera's automatically turned off, and it's up to me to turn on my camera, to click on that start video. For participants, right now by default, also when participants are joining my meeting, I have it set up so that their cameras are also turned off. And once they join the meeting, it's up to them to click on start camera. Now, if you know that you have certain participants who maybe haven't gone to many Zoom meetings, aren't comfortable yet with the technology, you may want to make things easier for them and just turn on their cameras as soon as they join. So if you select on, what happens is as soon as your participants join the meeting, their cameras are already on.
Whether
so
I
it's
know
just-
it or not.
Yes, exactly. So if you've
Okay, great.
selected on here, they'll automatically join with their cameras turned on. And that may be something you want to do
Mhm.
for those folks, maybe young kids or older adults who just like, I don't know if I have the emotional stability to walk them through how to, you know, turn on their camera. It's up to you, your choice.
Okay, so
with-
Vicki, just
yeah.
one point of clarification. Sometimes I don't have my camera on because I may have to get up and, you know, I have to keep moving. I don't want to be a distraction to the group. So you're saying that when I have my camera off, you still can see me and you know that I'm a legitimate participant, even though I have my camera off, you can see me.
No, if your camera is off, I
Mhm.
can't see you. I'll see your name
Mm.
on
Okay.
your little square, but you actually have to turn your camera on for others to see your video.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. This audio, you won't see this if you have a free account, but if you have a paid account, right now this is set to both. So if you, with a paid account, if you have folks who are joining maybe from their car, or maybe they're joining from another country or from an area where the connectivity may not be great, you can allow them to join the audio portion via a telephone calling, or just maybe you're going to say, no, you have to join using your audio, your computer's audio, or allow them to do both, depending upon what their connectivity is. So that's what the audio is. And then lastly, I just wanted to talk about some of these meeting options. So if you select allow participants to join at any time, what that lets participants do is they will now be able to join the meeting before you, the host. Sometimes that can be helpful if you have people who are joining from areas that maybe don't have great connectivity, maybe a different country, different time zone, whatever, and they want to join a few minutes early just to test out their audio and video if they've been having any trouble. So that's what allow participants to join at any time does for you.
So will the host know that those persons are already there? How will they know?
No, what they'll do is once they join the meeting, that's when they'll see. They may receive emails. Now that I'm thinking about it, let me verify this, if a host will get emails from folks who join early.
So Vicki, is that when, for example, I join and it says waiting for the host?
That means you're in the waiting room.
Okay, great.
Yeah. But it may say that. And let me verify this. I should know this. I want to know this. Thanks for the question. Mute participants upon entry. This is for you by default. And I would say if you have a lot of participants who are going to be joining your meeting, this is probably a good option to have turned on, because it can get pretty noisy when folks are first coming on to a Zoom call. And we, by default, we have mute participants upon entry. And then once they join, it's up to them if they would like to activate their, unmute themselves. Automatically record meeting in the cloud. So just know that you can record your Zoom meeting. And if you're going to do this, you need to let participants know. If, for example, we have this turned on because all of our sessions are recorded. And what it will do for you as the host is, as soon as you start the meeting, the recording will start. Now, you can always stop the recording at any time, but I always like to keep this turned on because I can't tell you how many times I've started a Zoom meeting, realized I needed it to be recorded, and then I forgot to start the recording. So just something to be aware of.
Is this also, how would you mute everyone? I know I've been in meetings where the host, the host can mute everyone. And then let's say if someone is to speak or raise their hand, then they can actually unmute you or ask you to unmute.
Yes, and that's done when you're actually in the meeting. And then if you go to the participant screen, there's a mute all button for the host.
Okay.
Great question. And so at this point, I'm going to click on save. Oh, it's gonna let me deselect passcode for now. I'm going to click on save. And now what I've done is I've scheduled my meeting. I haven't invited anyone. I've just scheduled the meeting. If I wanted to start inviting folks before the meeting, inviting participants, there's two different ways to do this. So I'm on the web version. If I click on this copy invitation button to the right here, what it will do is bring up this screen that we've seen before. I can click on copy meeting invitation. It copies all of the meeting information to my clipboard. So it's in that section of my computer memory. And then I would then open up my email application. I would compose a new email, paste the contents of the invitation that I copied to the clipboard, and then just address, start adding people's email addresses in the to field and send it off. And then you've invited them. Now, one other thing before I talk about the the calendar option, I just want to go through and just show you one or two other things. I'm going to click on the edit button here. Yeah, question. Sorry about that.
Just back to copy invitation. I'm still unclear. What invitation am I copying? The one I just create, what invitation am I copying? A previous invitation I had?
For this right here, my Wednesday meeting.
Oh, okay,
I'm
perfect.
copying it right for this one, right? You see here. Yeah.
Thank you.
And by the way, Victor has posted some really great information about the Zoom notification. And it is, yes, email notification if participants have joined before the host has. So you will receive an email. That's what I thought it was. Thank you, Victor. So take a look at that in the chat. I wanted to talk a little bit about something called recurring meetings. These are repeating meetings. So I've gone and clicked on edit. I'm back on my Wednesday meeting. And if you need to set up a repeating or recurring meeting, this is the way that you'll do it. You'll click on this recurring meeting checkbox just right here. And when you do that, there are some additional fields that show up on your screen. So recurrence, this can be daily, weekly. Let's just say I'm setting this up as a weekly meeting. This is with, a client of mine. We just need to meet once a week, but you could meet up to 7 times a week. I'm going to set up, once a week. We're going to be meeting on Wednesdays, every Wednesday. And we also need to set an end date because this is not open-ended. Now, if I select the buy option, if I click on the calendar icon right over here, I click on that little calendar icon, I can use these little teeny, triangle buttons to move forward and backward through the months. I can select, September 15th. So we're going to have this recurring meeting that happens every Wednesday. It's going to end on the 15th of September. Or what I could do is if I select this option, I can then say, we're going to be meeting only 5 times. So after that 5th Wednesday meeting, this meeting expires. It's done. So you can specify an end date or you can specify number of occurrences. And let me know if you have any questions about that.
That's great.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to mention, let me click on save for a moment. So I've saved my meeting. It's recurring. We're using the waiting room here. You'll also notice down at the bottom there's save as template. And what this does is if you want to save this as a template, I can just call it, I don't know, coaching template. I'll save it as a template. And what this allows me to do is everything, all the different options that I've selected, I'm using the waiting room, the video, participants, use their cameras turned on as soon as they enter a room. What are some of the other meeting options I've selected? When you save it as a template, the next time you go to schedule a meeting, you'll have the option to use that template so you don't have to go through and turn everything on and off. Just those items that you originally selected. Maybe you're a coach, a life coach, and you're setting up a number of meetings each week with different clients. You can just use that, client template over and over again. Any questions so far about repeating? Yeah, Nikki.
Thank you, Vicki. This is on your account, which is a paid account. Now, are these options available on the free account?
Yes. The audio you won't see on the free account, but everything else I've shown you is.
Okay, good.
Template, repeating, yes, it certainly is. Great question. And by the way, once I've saved this meeting, it will show up. So if I go back up to and click on meetings over here on the left-hand navigation panel, here's my Wednesday meeting. I can start it, I can edit it, or I can delete it. So if I go back and edit the meeting, I'm just going to edit all occurrences because this is a recurring meeting. And then I'm just going to save it one more time because when I do that, it comes, one of the options that you can select is a calendar option. So what I've been doing so far is when we schedule a meeting, remember, it doesn't automatically invite participants. You need to do that separately. Now, because I'm working on the web browser version, I can select this copy invitation button. And then I click on copy meeting invitation. It copies it to the clipboard. And then I can paste the contents of the clipboard into my email. Another way to do this is to use this calendar feature, which you're seeing right over here. So when you schedule a meeting, you can use the calendar feature to do a number of things. First of all, you can use it to put this meeting on your calendar, but you can also use it to do a number of other things, including invite participants. So let me show you how this works. Because I'm on a Windows machine, it's showing me Google Calendar. Do I use, or maybe I use Outlook Calendar or Yahoo Calendar. If you're working off of a MacBook or another operating system, it'll show you iCalendar. I'm a Google Calendar user, so I'm going to schedule this on my Google Calendar. I'm going to click on Google Calendar right here. And what it's doing is it's going to ask me to sign into my Google account. I have a number of different Google accounts, so that's why they all appear here. And once I've signed into one of my Google accounts, the last thing it's going to do is please, asking me to give Zoom access to my calendars. Yes, I want to do that. And the next thing you're going to see is this screen. So what this allows me to do is save this on my Google Calendar, this event. It also is going to allow me to invite guests, so I don't have to go into my another calendar app and start typing out people's email addresses. I can send something called notifications to myself as well as participants. And then over here, I can edit the invitation. So let's talk a little bit about these. So where it says notification, by default, here's the link that will be sent to users, to participants. Notification, this is a little message that pops up on your screen. In this case, it's going to be 30 minutes before the Zoom meeting. I also can click on add notification, and I can select email. So maybe I'm going to send an email. Maybe I want to send an email 2 days before my meeting. So for example, if you're scheduling this meeting in 2 weeks or in a month, you might want to add multiple notifications so that maybe it's once a week. Maybe it's, a few days before the meeting or a few hours. Just not only for you, the host, these will display, but also for participants that you're sending this invitation out to. So that is how you can add multiple notifications if you choose to for your event. The other thing you can do on this screen is come down here towards the bottom, and you can actually edit this invitation. You can remove things. You can add text, please plan on attending. You have bold, italicized, underline. There are a number of things you can put in bullets. So this area is for you to customize.
A question, Vicki.
Sure.
These phone numbers dial in by your location. Is that an automatic feature of Zoom or what?
Because I'm on a paid account, these are available to me. If you're working on the free account, you will not see these. These will not be in your invitation.
Okay.
But yes, because I'm on a paid account, I've allowed users, participants to dial into the audio version on a phone. Using a phone line.
But you don't get the chance to select the areas. That's an automatic feature.
Yeah, because I'm in the US, these are the phone numbers that are assigned.
Okay.
Great question.
So if I'm adding a guest, I add them by what? Telephone number, email? How am I adding them with?
You're going to add them with an email. Because I'm working on a Windows laptop, right here, we're going to add via email. So if I were to type out my email address, here's one email address. I'm just going to press enter. I can also, I have some other email addresses here. I can just start typing email addresses. I think if I were to type out a number, oops. Because this is email, it's looking for an email address.
Thank you.
But you can certainly do this if on a mobile device. You could opt for sending people texts. And so you'll just start right here on this same screen. You'll just start adding people's email addresses, just like I've done here. And then you're going to click on save. I'll just say, you know, we can do add all these different events because it's recurring. I'll just add this one event so you can see what it looks like. And yes, I would like to send all my emails to my calendar. And this is what it looks like for me. Here's my Wednesday meeting. If I click on it on my calendar, I can join. And when you send this invite out to your participants, they'll have the option to say, yes, I'm attending. No, I'm not attending, or maybe. And when they do select, yes, I'm attending, or maybe, they'll have the option, would you like to add this to your calendar? If they say yes, they'll have the option, well, which calendar would you like to add it to? And then they'll have this same option. They can click on their calendar on this event and they can join the meeting right here. And so that's how you're going to use this calendar option. And one of the things I wanted to show you, I'm back on my slides, and if you're using the app, the Zoom app, this is what it'll look like for you. Everything I've showed you how to do, you'll be able to do on the app. You'll tap on schedule, the schedule icon on your app. This is the screen that you will see. You'll be able to set it up just like I set my meeting up. If you tap on advanced options, you'll get a few more options, you know, mute participants upon entry, that kind of thing. It's just, it has to do with real estate. You can click on save, and then you can also have the option to use that calendar feature as well. Any questions? We've come up to our hour already. I cannot believe it. I know I've given you a lot of information. This is my suggestion. Get a Zoom account if you don't have one, get a free account. Download the app or use the web browser like I have. Schedule a meeting, start a meeting, play around with it. You don't have to invite people. Just, you know, get used to, see what different options are available to you. Get used to, you know, scheduling meetings, use that calendar feature, see what it does. You know, start a meeting in your personal room or using a randomly generated ID. You can't hurt anything. Just, you know, start practicing what we've covered today.
So Vicki, real
Yes.
question. If I want to practice, and say, for example, I wanted to try and set up something like with a friend or with my sister, again, I have 45 minutes and there can be at least 3 of us.
Yes, it's 40 minutes.
Okay.
And if you have only invite one other person, there's no time limit. But if you invite 2 or more people, then that 40-minute time limit kicks in.
Thank you, Vicki.
Okay, I have a couple of questions, Vicki. Okay, I have the icon on my desktop, so I have it downloaded, so I can click on the icon. And when I click on the icon, then this screen comes up where I can schedule a meeting.
Yes.
Okay, and then that's where I go start from there. The
Yes.
other question is, I have been on Zoom meetings where the host has been able to place persons in different rooms. I know this is more advanced, you know, I'm not at that point now, but how is that done? I mean, they play, oh, you sign in, I'm going to move you to such and such a room. Please, you know, go to that room, or, you know, you're in this room, or we're holding you in the waiting room until so-and-so. How is that accomplished?
That's called breakout rooms. And we actually have a class that shows you how to do that.
Okay.
And
all right.
I'm going to go ahead, since you asked the question, thank you so much. I'm on the GetSetUp site. I'm on our website. And if you go into search guides and classes, I'm going to click in here and type Zoom. and then press enter. And what you'll see is a listing of all of our classes that we offer for Zoom. You know, here is, let me see if I can find that one, how to look like a superstar. This has to do with setting up your lighting. We have creating backgrounds, both for beginners and custom backgrounds to use for virtual backgrounds. Zoom host practice sessions. That might be something of interest to folks. You can practice. If you're interested in how to use the whiteboard, Zoom's whiteboard, this might be a great class for you. And then we also have, let me find it, advanced Zoom.
Okay.
This is where we talk about the breakout rooms.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep, you're so welcome.
I think I'll take all of these Zoom sessions.
Yes, and by the way, you can come back and take this class as many times as you wish, just until you get comfortable. I threw a lot out at you today. And so see what you're comfortable with. And if you still are unsure about a few things, come back and take the class again to help cement everything. And again, as many times as you need. And so I am going to stop my share here. I've gone over a little bit. Sorry about that, but thank you so much for your questions. I want to make sure that they're answered. I have 2 or 3 little to-dos here that I'm going to be sending out in our after class notes. And I want to thank everybody for joining me today.
Great class. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And so go and practice. Yeah, I'm sorry.
How do we get to the after class notes? How do we
I'll
get
be
them?
sending them to you via an email. You'll get an email from me.
Okay, thank you.
You don't have to do anything but open up the email.
This is wonderful, Vicki. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You
very
are
much.
so welcome. My pleasure. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Sometimes, you know,
You too.
Wednesdays and
All right,
Saturday.
you too.
You know.
Thank you.
Okay,
too.
take care, everyone. It's
Bye-bye.
great to see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.